Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video tonight I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news. Keep you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United, and as you are all aware, Manchester United have still not yet made any signings in this January transfer window, and it is transfer deadline day on Friday, so I actually am really infuriated in that. But more signings are desperately needed at the football club. I think we need around 5 to 6 more signings definitely, and even though we have been inconsistent for the last 6 or 7 years, I still feel as though that we can attract players to the elite level and that, because we are one of the richest clubs in the world. We have spent a lot of money in the last 6 or 7 years on recruiting new players in. We've spent nearly £1 billion, I think, in all the managerial eras since the Ferguson era. So whatever we can afford to pay for players in that, and also we have got the highest wage bill in the Premier League. So I'm going to be talking with you guys about Sandy Berge. Also going to be giving you the latest news regarding Bruno Fernandes. And also there is lots of other things to currently talk about. So I'm going to start with the news regarding Sander Berge. Now, reports were coming out earlier on today from the media. It came from a couple of journalists. One of them was called James Robson, and I think it was also Samuel Lockhurst from the Manchester Evening News. Sometimes he tends not to be reliable. But anyway, it did say that Sander Berge, earlier on today, had allegedly, been to Carrington to undergo a medical ahead of a proposed move to Manchester United. But it turns out this is false reports, because reportedly it got revealed that it wasn't Sandy Berge who was going in for a medical. It was a 15-year-old reserve goalkeeper, for Manchester United. Now, Sandy Berge, he currently plays for Genk. He is only the age of 21, I think. I think he is a holding midfielder. Also, Liverpool have been in for him in the past. I think actually, Sheffield United are now in talks over getting him. I think he's supposed to be rated at around £20 million. But I think, Sheffield United are now in talks over a £27 million move. So I think either way he's going to be leaving Genk as the player. So he actually, could go to Sheffield United. So he's not coming to Manchester United. But it just popped up out of the blue. And, some journalists were saying, that he'd undergone a medical, or was going to undergo a medical at the Carrington training base. But it turns out now that this is not currently true. The news regarding Bruno Fernandes, and there's a lot of negativity now coming out regarding Bruno Fernandes, because I think now Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United is dead in the water. And the main explanation why this is because I think Solskjaer's confirmed this himself. During his press conference building up to the Man City game tomorrow, he didn't provide us with any news regarding Bruno Fernandes, but he didn't provide us with any transfers whatsoever. Now, reportedly, Barcelona are orchestrating on hijacking our move for Bruno Fernandes. So, reports are emerging out saying that Barcelona have put a bid in for Bruno Fernandes. And reportedly, they will immediately then, if they get him, loan him out to Valencia. So then Barcelona can get the pursuit of Rodrigo, because Barcelona are in for Rodrigo from Valencia, basically in that. But I don't think now Bruno Fernandes is going to be coming to Manchester United. The main explanation why this is because Manchester United and Sporting Lisbon cannot come to an agreement on a fee, basically. Sporting Lisbon have revealed that they want around, is it £65 million? It said the other week that they wanted around £68 million. But of course, Man United are not determined to meet this. Obviously we've increased our offer. I think we've offered now around £46 or £47 million up front, with around £12 million in add-ons. But obviously, we had our first bid turned down, because the first offer was around £42 million, with around 8.5 million in add-ons. And, actually, Sky Sports had revealed last week, I think it was, saying that, us and Sporting Lisbon are around 10 million a part of the valuation, basically. So we're not determined to meet what Sporting Lisbon are demanding in that. So we can't come to an agreement on a fee. There was a lot of reports from the Portuguese press the other week saying that, we'd agreed personal terms with Bruno Fernandes and he was set to earn around £120,000 a week. Bruno Fernandes did confirm that he wanted to come to Manchester United. That was his preference. But looking realistically now that we're not going to get him, there was some reports saying that we could actually get him on deadline day, Bruno Fernandes. But it isn't going to happen now. And, Bruno Fernandes did play for Sporting Lisbon in their game against Martimo yesterday night. Sporting Lisbon did win by 1-0. They did win by 1-0, did Sporting Lisbon. And Bruno Fernandes was currently captaining that current game and that. And then obviously, the Sporting Lisbon boss came out and he gave us an update after that game. And he said he was unsure whether that was Bruno Fernandes' last game as a Sporting Lisbon player, basically. Obviously, we should have got this deal done ages ago. We should have actually, signed Bruno Fernandes last summer. But the main factor reason why we didn't sign Bruno Fernandes last summer is because, obviously, we was not determined to meet Sporting Lisbon's valuation. So it's the same sort of thing now why we haven't got him. But, last summer Sporting Lisbon said they wanted £70 million. Man United were not determined to pay that £70 million valuation because last summer we was only willing to pay around £50 million for Bruno Fernandes, basically. And don't forget, last summer Tottenham went in for him. Also, City went in for him. At one point, City were close to getting him. Liverpool, of course, went in for him and that. But, I don't think we're going to get Bruno Fernandes now, and he is our number one priority target. And we're basically seeing him we was seeing him as a replacement for Paul Pogba, because I still believe, I'm very convinced that Pogba will leave in the summer, and he currently is out injured at the moment, and we do look very exposed in that midfield, reflecting on the injuries to Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay. And I've got a lot of element of concerns about that midfield at this present time, because the only midfielders we can rely on at the moment is Matic, too much of a liability, too slow, Pereira, too inconsistent, Fred, he hasn't emulated that level as yet, but I think he's still improving as a Manchester United player. So we've got to get two midfielders in. We need an attacking midfielder. We also need a holding midfielder. But we're now not getting Bruno Fernandes by the looks of things. And even though he hasn't played in the Premier League, Bruno Fernandes, I said if he'd have come to the Premier League, I think he'd be able to replicate what he's done in Portugal. And I think he's got the minerals to come and succeed in the Premier League, because Bruno Fernandes is creative, his composure is good, his passing accuracy is good, he can provide goals from that midfield like he's done in the couple of years with Sporting Lisbon. I think he also did the same thing when he was in Italy when he was younger. Don't forget, we've been relentlessly in negotiations with Sporting Lisbon. A couple of times, obviously, negotiations have stalled, regarding the fee. But I think it's like since a couple of weeks ago, or was it 3 weeks ago now, when Sporting Lisbon's president, Federico Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes' agent had come to London to meet up with Ed Woodward. Since then, we've been working on getting this deal over the line. Jorge Mendes has also been working on getting this deal over the line. But we're just not determined to pay what Sporting Lisbon are demanding. So this is not good business from the football club. We're basically around, £5 or £10 million, £10 million apart from their valuation. We should just pay what Sporting Lisbon are demanding. Revert back to what I said earlier on in the video. We're known for... we spent a lot of money in the last 6 or 7 years. We're known for overpaying for players anywhere. Prime example, 80 million for Maguire, 50 million for Fred, 89 million for Paul Pogba, 40 million for Matic. So why don't we just pay what Sporting Lisbon are demanding? So Barcelona now could possibly get him on the board. So I don't think now Bruno Fernandes to Man United is happening. But overall, anyway, there has been a lot of midfielders on our current agenda and that. So, and obviously, we need a replacement for Fernando Herrera, because he also left the club last summer as well. So, take that into account. Obviously, as well, Man United are not only in search for a midfielder, we're also in search for a striker. Well, we're looking to get a striker on loan until the end of the season. Obviously, the main explanation for this is reflecting on the injury to Marcus Rashford, because obviously, Rashford is now out until... I think he's out for at least a couple of months, is Marcus Rashford. He's out for a couple of months. Could even be out for the remainder of the season, because this injury is very severe that Marcus Rashford's got. And it's this current injury he's got now is totally comparison to the one that he had earlier on in the season. In the season. And, you know, some people believe from their own perceptions that some of the blame stems from Solskjaer, why Rashford's injury, occurred, because he actually, shouldn't have played Rashford against Wolves and that, so we need to get someone on loan until the end of the season. I'd keep Rashford at the club. He's definitely a long-term solution for Man United, because I think he's been a revelation this season, of course, before he got injured. I don't know if he'll spend from now on the entirety of his career with Man United, but so far up until this point, he has spent the entirety of his career with Manchester United as Rashford. But he has got a double fracture in his back, and it's a shame to see. So where are the goals now going to come from? And this is why we need to get someone in. And there's been a couple of strikers on our agenda. There's still a chance that Man United could get Islam Slimani from Monaco. Well, he's on loan at Monaco from Leicester now. As I updated you earlier on today, it did say Man United and Tottenham are in talks of, regarding Islam Slimani, because Tottenham themselves are also in search for a striker, reflecting on the injury to Harry Kane and that, because obviously Harry Kane's one of their imperative players. He's won the Golden Boot a couple of times for Tottenham in recent years. Very, very good player. Probably now, in the current market, if he was for sale, he'd probably cost a substantial 200 million or something like that. But he's out for quite a while, I think. And plus, Tottenham have just lost Christian Eriksen. He's officially joined Inter Milan. And maybe Tottenham, may consider getting a replacement for him. But yeah, so Islam Slimani, he obviously wants to depart Monaco anywhere. Reports have been coming out from Sky Sports about it, and like I said, Sky Sports is a very reliable source, and they said he's asked Monaco to end his loan, basically, and that, so he wants to leave to rejuvenate his career. Leicester, from there, they've given their overarching view on this speculation, and Leicester have said, they want a £4 million loan fee, so Man United or Tottenham will have to pay £4 million to get him in. Islam Slimani, before he was on loan at Monaco, he had loan spells with Fenerbahce and Newcastle, and before that, he obviously was at Leicester. Leicester paid around £29 million for him from Sporting Lisbon back in 2016. He is 31 years of age, so maybe his age is an element of concern. But if he come to Man United, then maybe he would be able to give us them goals that we do currently need. So he's been one player on our current agenda as Islam Slimani. Obviously, there was reports coming out not too long ago about Idion Igalo, who currently plays in the Chinese. He currently plays in China. Well, he's played in China for quite a few years now. I think he plays for the team called Shanghai Greenland Shenhua, something like that. I think he's also had a spell at Watford before, and he's 30 years of age. So there has been a few strikers on our agenda. We're not going to get Edison Cavani now, obviously. He's going to Atletico Madrid, is Edison Cavani. He's closing on the move to Atletico Madrid. Obviously, we had the chance to get him at one point. We inquired about him, but obviously then he'd rejected a move to Man United, Edison Cavani. Obviously, Chelsea were also in for Edison Cavani, because obviously, Frank Lampard, is an admirer of the player and that. But yeah, he's going to Atletico Madrid, because Atletico Madrid's his preference. I probably wouldn't have I wanted Edison Cavani at Man United anywhere. Not that he's a bad player. I just think now he's aging up. He's 32. He's got a record of injuries. Plus, it probably would cost us a substantial amount, because I think it did say from one report the other day that it would cost us or Chelsea in the excess of around £66 million for the player. And plus, he's never played in the Premier League anywhere. PSG said they want 25 million. Atletico Madrid won't pay 25 million. I think they're only willing to pay around, 12.4 million. But Atletico Madrid had one bid turned down. I think that was their first bid of £8.4 million. But, he enjoyed a good career with PSG. He was a long-serving player for them. He served 7 years, was it, with PSG? He enjoyed, it was 6 years, but he enjoyed nearly 7 seasons with them, and scored 198 goals in 293 games for them in all competitions. But PSG did pay £55 million for him from Napoli, but nowhere in a million years that they were going to recoup the £55 million that they paid for him. because don't forget his current contract was due to expire with PSG at the end of the season, so he is going to Atletico Madrid, and he was left out of the PSG squad recently in their game, of course, against Lille. So we're not going to get Edison Cavani, definitely nowhere not. May have been a chance at the first when he did say, he'd put a transfer request in when PSG did confirm this, but he's not coming to the Premier League and that. So, like I said, there is lots of players on our current agenda in that. But we've got to hurry up and make some signings, definitely. We don't only need to see more incomings. We also need to see more outgoings at Manchester United, definitely. But I said overall, didn't I? Anyway, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club, because these fundamental issues at the club, like, Rio Ferdinand was recently saying, we need to get the board out, we need to get Ed Woodward out, we need to get the Glazers out. Obviously, you've got a lot of United fans that are protesting Ed Woodward and the Glazers. We also need a change of management. We do need a change of management. Probably getting rid of Solskjaer at this present time wouldn't be the right solution, because due to having inconsistency for the vast majority of this season, not all of the blame stems from Solskjaer. I think, everyone else needs to take responsibility. So there's, the club's in turmoil at the moment. There's problems with the backroom staff, like I mentioned. There's problems with the management. There's problems on the pitch. So we need to see a variety of changes at the football club, but I don't like the way the football club's been run anywhere in the last 6 or 7 years. So I think Solskjaer's confirmed that there will be more departures, definitely. And obviously, if we can get rid of some players, then we'll generate money in that way for their departures and that. So there's still players at Manchester United that are no longer good enough to represent the football club and that. But our recruitment's been absolutely poor in the last 6 or 7 years. And Ferdinand was recently talking about our recruitment policy. Solskjaer came out recently and said, it's not the right time to discuss the club's recruitment policy. But, he says, it's very, very hard in the January transfer window to get the players you want. And Solskjaer, of course, has confirmed this. I give you my reaction, didn't I, to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference earlier on, building up to the Manchester City-Manchester United game at the Etihad tomorrow in the Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg. Obviously, as you are all aware, we are 3-1 down from the first leg. And obviously, we've got to now overcome a 2-goal deficit at the Etihad, basically. But I'm very sceptical that this is going to happen. Probably the first goal will decide it. If we can score first, then the tie's on. I think if City score first, then the tie is all over, basically. Solskjaer, said, he admitted City played really, really well in the first leg, especially in the first half, because they were 3-0 up after half-time, 3-0 up at half-time were Man City in that. So they dominated the first leg, basically. Obviously, this is another bad decision from the football club, recommending Sanchez back in, in the summer. Solskjaer has confirmed that Sanchez, will be coming back to Manchester United in the summer. He will be, linking up with the rest of the squad for the pre-season tours. So he is coming back to Man United after his loan spell with Inter Milan. So we've ruled out him making a permanent move to Inter Milan or any other club in the summer. But Inter Milan have now got him on loan. But I did say when Inter Milan got him on loan, they had the option to buy. There, of course, there was no obligation to buy. Of course, there was no obligation to buy. Of course, he believes Solskjaer that Sanchez will prove everyone wrong. So hopefully when he does come back in, his performances can be totally comparison to the ones that he showed in that 18-month period. Because he endured difficult 18 months with Manchester United, did Alexis Sanchez. He endured difficult 18 months with the football club. Obviously, we thought he exceeded expectations when he first came in, because we got Sanchez in January 2018 following a swap deal, with Mkhitaryan. He went to Arsenal, obviously, in that. And probably Arsenal, will regret, obviously, letting Sanchez go. Probably they should have got rid of Ozil instead at that current time. Sanchez did enjoy 3.5-4 good years at Arsenal. He won a few FA Cups with them. Of course, Arsenal are the most successful team in FA Cup history. Because obviously, they've won the most FA Cups. And Sanchez did really well at Barcelona when he was younger. He played under Pep Guardiola's guidance. One of the best managers in the world, basically. And, still is. But what he did at Barca and Arsenal, he just didn't replicate that at Manchester United, Sanchez. And, I did say, his wages, you know, it was totally affecting our wage structure, where his wages and that, because Sanchez was on around 400 grand a week at Manchester United, potentially rising up to around 500 grand a week, with the image rights and the bonuses. But, even with him being on loan at Inter Milan now, I still believe Man United are still paying the vast majority of his wages. We're still paying him around, £300,000, Alexis Sanchez and that. But he can play in numerous positions. He's very versatile, is Sanchez. You're supposed to see the best of him in that number 7. I think when he was an Arsenal player, most of his goals came when he was playing centrally in that. But yeah, just want to confirm, Sanchez is coming back to Manchester United. But I think this is definitely a bad decision from the club and that. But, the vast majority of our players in general that left anywhere last summer, went to Italy. A few went out on loan. Sanchez went out on loan. You got Chris Smalling. He went out on loan to Roma. He could possibly come back to Man United, when his loan spell comes to an end with Roma. He endured 9 years at Manchester United, Smalling, so he was a long-serving player at the club, was Chris Smalling. We've had quite a few long-serving players at the club. We've also still got long-serving players at the club now. Obviously, Young left this year. He went also to Inter Milan, so he's reuniting with Lukaku and Sanchez. Young went to Inter Milan for around £1.5 million, and Young endured 8.5 years at Manchester United. And all that. Lukaku, of course, went to Milan. Some people say we will regret now letting Lukaku go. Maybe we shouldn't have let Lukaku go. I know people said, his first touch is an element of concern and he doesn't do so well against elite opposition. But I thought when we got Lukaku, he enjoyed a good first season at the club. I think his performances were totally comparison in his second season, because he didn't really get in the team, because Lukaku initially lost his place in the team. We paid $75 million for him from Everton. But, in terms of financially, I'm happy, with the money we generated from his departure, because more or less we recouped the money that we paid for him from Everton. And I didn't think Inter Milan at the first were determined to pay the £70-odd million, that they did. I didn't think, they would have done that. But, maybe we shouldn't have got rid of him now, because we do look at exposing that attacking line following Lukaku's departures, and you can also take Sanchez into the equation. Martial's done well in some games this season, but I just don't think he's on the same level as Rashford. Rashford's injured. Daniel James hasn't done so well in the last month or so. But, yeah. And obviously, Solskjaer, got asked, about what he thinks, to Jurgen Klopp playing his under-23s in Liverpool's replay against Shrewsbury. And, he just basically, has warned Jurgen Klopp, that we... he said something like, about 20 years ago, that we left out the FA Cup around 20 years ago. And Solskjaer, says he regrets it. I think it was something to do with a Brazilian tournament, he was basically saying. But, he does regret this, does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So he has warned Jurgen Klopp about that. Recently, Solskjaer compared himself to Jurgen Klopp. And, Solskjaer, has, come out and said a few things about Jurgen Klopp, to be fair. He's basically, come out not too long ago and said, give me time and I can build a team like Liverpool. He said, it took Jurgen Klopp, around 4 years to emulate to the level that he's at now. So he has said quite a few things regarding Jurgen Klopp. But, a lot of people believe that it's wrong what Klopp's doing. So he's getting a lot of criticism, is Jurgen Klopp, because obviously you can say he's underestimating the FA Cup. I know the FA Cup is not a priority for Liverpool, but, you still got to take the FA Cup serious. Definitely still got to take the FA Cup serious. So I think Klopp's revealed that he's going to be playing the exact same team as what he played against Villa in the Carabao Cup when they lost 5-0. So he's going to be playing the under-23s. Klopp's also confirmed, that he's not going to be, even managing that current game. And Liverpool haven't won the FA Cup since 2006. So they've got to take the FA Cup serious and that. Brendan Rodgers, he's also come out, Obviously, who's currently the manager of Leicester, and he's actually defended Jurgen Klopp as Brendan Rodgers. And Brendan Rodgers has said, he can select what team he wants, basically. And this is what Brendan Rodgers has had to say about this. So, yeah, like I said, Solskjaer, did say quite a few things during his press conference and that. So, it's a big game for us tomorrow. We've got to try and do something. Solskjaer said, we need to see a perfect performance. We need to basically see what we saw last season against PSG. We need to see a memory bank, because last season against PSG, we was 2-0 down for the first leg. But then, obviously, we overcome a 2-goal deficit and then won 3-1 in the second leg. And I've got to say, that's one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moments as a manager, without a shadow of a doubt. And, don't forget, this is the third Manchester derby this season. And, hopefully if we can replicate a performance that we showed at the Etihad early on this season, then maybe, we can get something. Because, Solskjaer's overcome Pep Guardiola once this season. I think this is now their fourth meeting in total, Guardiola and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. I think, the squad, it's... I think more or less this is the same squad that is going to be travelling to Man City. I think it's the same squad, or a similar squad to what travelled to Tranmere in the FA Cup and that. That was a very, very good win against Tranmere in the FA Cup. And you've got to say now, the FA Cup is a priority for Man United. The FA Cup's a priority for us. It'd be good for us to win it, but even if we don't win it, it will be good for us to enjoy a good cup run, like we did last season, because last season we progressed to the quarterfinals of the competition. Also, the Europa League is a priority for us. Also, the top four is a priority for us, because we are still in that top four race. But the only main explanation why we're in that top four race is because, Chelsea have been so inconsistent in that. But that was a good win against Tranmere, reflecting back to what I said. Very, very good win. If we hadn't beaten Tranmere, then there may have been a possibility chance that Solskjaer would have been sacked as Manchester United manager. It probably wouldn't have happened. I think for us to give Solskjaer another season at the club, I think, he's got many expectations now to exceed in his second year, because he's in his second year. If we can get top four this season and we can get some silverware on the board, which is very, very imperative for us, because we've lacked silverware in the last 6 or 7 years, then we can, build on that. And then, we can build on that, definitely. Then I think we would be determined to give Solskjaer another season. We don't get top four, we don't win any silverware. I don't think he'll get given another season. Well, I don't think he should, even if he does. But this is Solskjaer's first full season as Manchester United manager and that. He's been here 13 months. He's been permanent boss for 10 months. That was one of the mistakes Man United did make, was giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis. We should never give him the job on a permanent basis. I think we give him it too soon. I think Rio Ferdinand himself regrets saying, give him the contract when we did beat PSG 3-1. But it was definitely no mistake. But, if a lot of people, as an interim manager at any other club, if they were doing well as Solskjaer did in that 3-month period, then they probably would decide to give him the job, definitely, because he did really, really well in that 3-month period. Obviously, we'd have to pay to get rid of Solskjaer. I think it said we'd have to pay around £5 million. So if we got rid of him any time within his 2.5 years left he's got on his deal, we'd have to pay £5 million. I don't see him seeing out his 2.5 year deal at the football club, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But I think he's an out-of-depth manager, he's Solskjaer. He's too inexperienced as a manager. As a player, he was fantastic for us. We'll never forget what he's done for the football club. But I think as a manager, he's totally comparison to how he was as a player. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how Solskjaer approaches this game against Man City. Because 2/3 of United fans want him to persist with the back three, and especially, want him to go with the back three against Man City, because I think the back three seems to suit our standards, and we haven't really gone with it a lot this season. We went with it against Tranmere, went with it against Liverpool early on the season, and it seemed to have worked. It really seemed to have worked, but Solskjaer's been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation on a regular basis this season, and it hasn't really seemed to suit our standards. So maybe in this game, we should stick with three at the back, so either go with 3-4-1-2 or go with the 3-5-2-1 or the other, basically. He will make some changes from the game against Tranmere, may could make around 3 or 4 changes, something like that. But he did play a lot of first teamers against Tranmere, despite the fact that Tranmere are League One, because Solskjaer didn't want to take any risks against Tranmere. And plus, you know, our under-21s played them early on this season, and we lost 3-2, don't forget. And obviously, you know, the pitch at Tranmere, of course, was very, very, very bad. So I didn't want to take many risks. As you all know, in the 5th round, you know, we've obviously, you know, got Derby or Northampton. I presume Derby will win the replay, so Ray Rooney possibly, you know, will be reuniting with Manchester United because he is the player manager of Derby's Wayne Rooney in that. So we could still get some silverware on the board this season. But without a shadow of a doubt, more signings are needed at Manchester United and that. And you know, we don't want to keep persistently sacking managers because that's not always the right solution. 3 managers have already gone since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, Moyes left after 10 months. Van Gaal left after like a year or so, and you know, Jose Mourinho left after 2.5 years. So Solskjaer's our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. But this will be a tough game against Man City. We've got 2 big games coming up. City tomorrow, then Wolves at the weekend. Then Chelsea, I think, is after Wolves away, which will be another tough game. So take that into account and that. But I think City will probably win the Carabao Cup. You know, City are looking to win their 3rd Carabao Cup on the trot because obviously, you know, they haven't... they're not going to win the Premier League. You know, there's no title ambition now for Man City. You know, they're basically fighting for 2nd to Man City. You know, so I think they're going to win the Carabao Cup. They're really, really good in the Carabao Cup. I think they possibly can win the FA Cup. They won't. I don't think they'll win the Champions League. They've no pedigree in the Champions League. Totally comparison with Liverpool, you know, because Liverpool have got a decent pedigree in the Champions League. They've won it 6 times with Liverpool. You know, so City, I think we'll get some silverware on the board this season, definitely in that. Yeah. So that's your latest transfer news. So I wanted to give you the news regarding Sander Berge. It's false reports saying he today come to Carrington to undergo a medical. It's false reports, so don't listen to what's being said. I wanted to give you the news regarding Bruno Fernandes. So anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, take care, God bless, see you all again soon.